Why is everyone about to play this Riftbound deck? On Reddit, on Discord, at every single local game stores I've been to, everyone is starting to catch on just how broken this deck is going to be when Riftbound officially releases. And if you're not preparing for this deck right now, you're going to get absolutely crushed. Here's the thing. We have a Discord community where we talk about all things Riftbound, so make sure you join that. Links in the description down below. But I'm pretty sure I'm one of the few content creators that actually go out to my local game stores and test decks and play with other people. I've gone against 50 different deck builds over the last month, and I've seen firsthand what's working and what's not. Plus, I've helped a dozen of new players with learning the new game even before it releases. So, as someone who's actually has hands-on experience with the game, I can tell you with 100% certainty that this deck is going to dominate the early meta. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why this deck everyone will play, as well as what makes it so powerful. So what makes a meta deck, quote-unquote, meta and defining? Number one is that it executes its game plan every single game without relying on perfect draws. It's consistent. It has decent speed where it can pressure your opponent by turn 3s or 4. It has a high adaptability where it can handle multiple archetypes, and it's easy to pilot because then everyone will be able to play it. This deck is specifically Dazzling Master Yi. Dazzling Aurora, if you guys don't know, this basically states that at the end of your turn, you may draw off cards from the main deck until you reveal a unit, play it, recycle the rest of your card. So this deck specifically only plays with a few units. Master Yi, Chosen Champion, and then 3 copies of White Flame Protector, 3 copies of Dead Bloom, 3 copies of Mountain Drake, and that's it for units. Now, for battlefields, we have Aspirant Climb, increases points needed to win the game by 1. Sigil of Storm, when you conquer here, recycle 1 of your runes. And you also have Obelisk of Power. At the start of each player's first beginning phase, that player channels 1 rune. Master Yi's legend ability, while friendly unit defends alone, it gets a +2. So why is this deck so strong? This deck is so strong primarily because Master Yi's legend ability is super busted. Even though he's in the Origins Proving Ground, you could say, he's so strong. He's just so strong. The +2 passive is just so hard to deal with. Now, outside of that, there are a couple reasons why just Master Yi is so strong. His color combination, green and orange, offers him some of the best access to cheap spells. You have Define, which counters a spell that costs no more than 4 energy and no more than 1 power. Arm, move an enemy unit. And you also have Unyielding Spirit, prevent all spell and ability damage this turn. And you have Sabotage. You have to look at the opponent's hand, get rid of one of their non-unit cards. Very, very strong. Not only that, though, you have cards like Unguard and a bunch of other cards. Now, this deck runs 1 copy of Master Yi, 3 Defies, 3 Charms, 3 Confronts, 3 Disciplines, 3 Mobilize, 3 Zanyas, 3 Find Your Center, 3 Primal Strength, 3 Catalyst of Aeons, 3 White Flame Protector, 3 Dead Bloom Predator, 3 Mountain Drake, and 3 Dazzling. Now with side deck, you can build your side deck however you want, but this is what I have. 2 Unyielding Spirits for the Kaisa matchup, 2 Sabotage for the Mirror matchup for Dazzlings, Meditation for extra draw if that's important, and also 2 Wind Walls for being able to counter spells, because there are some spells that can be quite disruptive in the E deck if I Defy's not enough. Now, what is the overall strategy and game plan for this deck? Ideally, what you do is turn 1, you want to be able to mulligan when you can dig for up to 6 cards, 4 cards in your hand, 2 mulligan. You're able, and ideally what you want is you want to dig for cards like Mobilize, Find Your Center, and Catalyst of Aeon. Ideally, your turn 1 is ramp Mobilize from 2 to 3. Turn 2, you're at 5, so you ramp with Catalyst of Aeon going to 7. And then next turn you would play Dazzling. That's your ideal play scenario. But even if you don't play it like that, you have a lot of options. You can play Zanyas on your base for 2. You can play Confront to draw, Find Your Center to draw ramp. There's a lot of options. And even if you don't draw Dazzling, you're not fully locked out. You always have options to be able to play, say, Master Yi, fight for the door, fight for battlefields normally, as if you're a mid-range. And if that wasn't enough, if you didn't want to deal with the Dazzling counter matchups, you can just side deck. Instead of these side decks, you could put, say, 3 Snapvine and 3 Kianas in here, and then you can get rid of cards like Dazzling and Mountain Drake and swap those in for, say, 3 Kiana, 3 Snapvines, and instead of playing a Dazzling Aurora deck, you're playing a mid-range Yi deck, right? So you have a lot of options to be flexible with your side deck. So then you're probably wondering, how do we counter this deck specifically? Well, there are 3 main ways, and I'm going to go over each of the main ways. Number 1, mirror matchup, 50-50 coin flip. Do with that information what you will. Whoever draws better is going to win. 2 coin flip. The second way is to play hyper aggro. And to give you an example of what aggro means, I'll be showing you a Jinx deck. So this Jinx deck specifically just plays to have early control, but the reason why I say Jinx is specifically you want purple. The reason why you want purple is because you have a lot of cards that bounce units. You have, say, Fight or Flight, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. Because with Master Yi, specifically Dazzling, you're usually only moving with 1 unit at a time. You have cards like, what's the other one? Rebuke, if I can find it. Rebuke. Return a unit at a battlefield to its owner hand. And I think those are the main ones that purple have access to. Purple have access to like other cards, but there are other ways to deal with it. The reason why I say specifically purple is because they also have, say, Fading Memory. Give a unit at a battlefield gear temporary at the beginning, and then kill it, a battlefield or gear. The reason being why that's so strong is because if you're playing a Jinx deck and you can take control of a battlefield and you score 4 to 5 points, what happens is you will bounce units back to Master Yi's battlefield or to its hand, or just get rid of it completely, and you will hold for point 6, 7, 8, right? Master Yi has a really, really hard time getting over battlefields because it doesn't have the ability ganking outside of just Master Yi's chosen champion, right? It's not good swinging sideways. It's just you have to be from base, swing into a battlefield. Now, the last way to be able to deal with Master Yi is to play an even higher top end deck. So Master Yi's highest combination power is going to be White Flame Protector, giving a Mountain Drake +8, making it an 18 might. If you're able to have a battlefield with 19 might, however you may do it, if you're able to constantly reinforce a battlefield to have 19 might, Master Yi will never be able to take that battlefield away from you, unless you're trading 1 for 1. Now, what that means is, if you're able to get a battlefield to, say, 19 might, Master Yi will try to swing in. They're always going to be going down because they're not good at offense, or less good in offense. They want to defend a battlefield, they're weaker on offense. Now, if you can just score 1 point and always just constantly put bigger and bigger massive units on one battlefield, Master Yi will have no way to ever come back to it. Don't get me wrong, they have ways to move the unit, say with charm, but for the most part, as long as you can maintain a 18 or 19 might battlefield, it's almost impossible for Master Yi to be able to take it without spending 2 to 3 cards, maybe even 4 cards to get over it. That's how you beat Master Yi. Now, here's the thing. You might be thinking, just won't everyone play counter once they know this is coming? Yes and no. To counter Master Yi Dazzling specifically, which is Dazzling Aurora, there are only a few cards in the game that actually deal with gear destruction. One is Thermal Beam, kill all gear. Another one is Acceptable Loss, each player kills one of their gears. Another one is Adaptive Proton, which is when you conquer and you may kill a gear. And the other one is Fading Memories. Give a unit or gear temporary, which goes at the beginning of the turn, or salvage. You may kill a gear, draw. After playtesting many different decks, I can tell you that there are realistically 2 color combinations that are good with gear removal. One is purple with Acceptable Loss and Fading Memory. Another one is yellow with salvage, right? So if you want to deal with the counter and your opponent decides to, play purple and side deck all these kill gear things, or yellow, which is salvage kill gear, or say red, kill all gears, even if your opponent decides to play it like that, this deck inherently is just so strong. Trying to get over a Dead Bloom, which is 8 might, plus Master Yi's Legend ability, which is 2, a 10 might, it's very hard for most places to get them. And if you want to, you can change your side deck. So instead of having these cards, you can literally just play 3 Snapvines or play 3 Kianas in your sideboard, and get rid of Dazzling Aurora and play those Kianas or play those Snapvines, or the combination of 3 Snapvine, 3 Kiana, and get rid of, say, Dazzling and get rid of Mountain Drake. And instead of playing Dazzling Aurora ramp late game, you're playing mid-range with a bit of ramp. Like, there's just so many options for you to be able to play Yi. It's kind of nuts. So instead of playing Dazzling, you could just side deck units here and switch out a few cards, and then you have a completely different archetype that plays. So even if people try to counter specifically by using gear removal, you're always going to get value from, number one, Dazzling, because it's always going to be coming out. So until the next set comes out, Spirit Blossom, and until it comes out, there isn't going to be a real way to counter Dazzling, because you're always going to get one trigger of it. If there ever comes a time where a card can negate the either activation of a gear or negate a gear from being played, Dazzling will be in the meta for a while. Now, how I expect the meta to be is that probably most likely on week 1, you're going to have a lot of people experimenting with a lot of weaker decks, so the meta won't be that established, but people who play Yi or Kaisa going to kill most of the competitors. Week 2 and 3, the decks are going to start to be a lot more refined, and then people are going to start net decking, and you'll probably be seeing a lot of, this kind of deck. And then by week 4, the meta adapts. People are going to try to counter Yi, because some people don't want to be just net deckers, and people are going to be coming up with their own homebrews. I foresee potentially Misfortune being the counter in the meta. There is a secret deck that I do have that's already built. However, I don't want to show it yet until the game officially releases and I take it to locals and crush people that way. Don't want to share that quite yet. However, there's also, I would say by month 2, what will happen is we enter into December, and once December rolls along, the Chinese meta will probably have already had its second set of cards released, which is Spirit Blossom, and then we can see what the cards are in Spirit Blossom are, and then by seeing those cards, we will probably be able to build different decks that will then better counter Master Yi. Now, with that being said though, remember, we do have a Discord community where we talk about all things related to Riftbound, so make sure you join it. Links in the description down below. But what do you guys think? Let me know if you guys are going to be playing Master Yi, if you're going to be playing a different deck, and what you guys are building. I'm pretty sure Master Yi and Kaisa is going to be top tier, and there's going to be a couple of sleeper decks that will counter it, even in just set 1 origins, but we'll save that for another time. John Panio signing out. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.